everyone, and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. EHG has released its 100-page patch notes, which means all the cats are now out of the bag, and I'm officially starting my series on build recommendations this whole week, or actually the next 3 days, leading up to the highly anticipated update 1.2 Season 2 Tombs of the Erased, which I am just so excited about. But I'm also very nervous about because we have Subathon 3 on April 17th, and the first Subathon went 31 days, and the second Subathon went 65 days. So I never know what to expect, but it should be a very fun event. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to cover a build for Warlock, a build for Lich, and 2 builds for Necromancer that I recommend for Season 2. Right now we're on my brand new website, actionrpg.com. And don't worry, for the people that aren't used to the new website format, I also have the Last Epoch tools in the description if you want to go there. But for the video, we're going to be looking at actionrpg.com. Now on here, this is my Wheel of Torment Warlock. And the reason why I am recommending this for Warlock builds is, one, the build is unbelievably strong. It's already over 500 and 600 corruption using the Wheel of Torment staff. But this build uses Witchfire, and Witchfire is getting a massive buff because of a new item right here. This is Downfall of the Righteous. Witchfire deals multiplicative damage equal to 66% of your increased curse damage, while you have both Ignite Overload and Dam Overload, which this build gives you. Enemies within 10 meters are inflicted with Witchfire every second. Now, this still needs to be tested and made sure that it's as good as having a Twisted Heart in the build, but the fact that Witchfire is getting such a big boost from this new unique, I think the damage multipliers on this build are going to be absolutely crazy. On top of that, we've got a lot more survivability tools through our idols, and we have different ways to now spec our damage. So idols got a big boost. We are going to be a lot stronger and a lot tankier. And of course, we have the new relic, which I mentioned. Other than that, Warlock did take a little bit of hits for Chthonic Fissure and how frequently it releases its spirits in Season 2. But all in all, it was definitely overtuned. So they just reeled in a little bit. They didn't kill anything. They just kind of got it more in line with the other builds. So anyways, first build recommendation is Wheel of Torment Warlock. And what I'm going to do right now is just show off a little bit of gameplay from my build guide video. Enjoy. So this is my Wheel of Torment Warlock, and it's called that because we are using the Wheel of Torment staff, which allows you to cast Soul Feast and then rip Torment out of your enemies. It is a visually stunning build, gives you extreme clear speed, and you can hit enemies from 2 screen lengths away, which is really, really nice. The skills we are using are Profane Veil, Soul Feast, Rip Blood, Chaos Bolts, and Chthonic Fissure. And obviously a lot of this build is completely automated. Your staff, Wheel of Torment, will actually even cast Chthonic Fissure for you, but normally I am manually casting it. So really, you cast Chthonic Fissure, you cast Soul Feast to rip Torment out of the enemies, and you move on to the next pack. You are auto-procking Bone Curse, you're auto-procking Chaos Bolts, you are auto-procking Rip Blood, which allows you to put 2 movement skills on your bar. So we can transplant and we can use Profane Veil. Profane Veil does do decent damage and gives you a nice survivability tool whenever you need it. And you make your little orbs when you go into Profane Veil. Right now, this is a little over 600 corruption. We're doing a lot more damage on this cycle character over version 2. So version 3 is feeling pretty darn good. And let's finish off this Echo. And I'll show you a couple boss fights for single target. Void Spire. Done. Nemesis. Same level as the Exiled Mage. Ow. Look how quickly we get our life back. Good ward. And dead. 616 corruption Rye. Pretty simple fight. So even for single target or echoes, you run the same thing. Spam, drop Chthonic Fissure. You got double movement speed when you need it. Transplant Profane when you need it. Final phase. And Rye, you are dead. Almost dead. Now dead. Moving over to Lich. Now, unfortunately, Lich didn't get a ton of changes, just a couple tweaks here and there for the patch notes on Season 2. EHG has already publicly said that Lich's time will be Season 3. We're likely getting its updated passive tree. We're getting a new creator unique. We're getting its final skill. So Lich's day will be in Season 3. But hey, it's consistent, and a lot of people really like Lich. Now, the build that I recommend is the Stygian Lich Endgame build guide. I call this my machine gun Lich, and it's based upon the Stygian Coal Catalyst, which basically turns your drain life into Stygian beams, and it looks like your Lich is shooting machine guns, which you will see in a second. All the skills have been looked at, the passive tree has been looked at, and the main thing that's been updated on this build is the idols. And again, I think Acolyte probably has the best idols in the game, because you could still secure a 1x3 double health idol, and you could get double ward on that, or you could move into damage. I think Acolyte has the best idols. Again, we have the last Epoch tools all up to date and in the description below. Check out some gameplay for Lich. 550 corruption machine gun Lich. And the reason why I call it a machine gun Lich is, as you can see, we shoot these machine gun Stygian beams, which auto-target and hit enemies. This is what the Catalyst Stygian Coal does for us. It turns drain life into a machine gun. Now, the other skills we are using other than Drain Life, we're using Transplant as our movement. And believe it or not, Transplant actually does decent damage in this build because it's a necrotic spellcaster. We are using Death Seal, of course. We are using Reaper Form. And our spam skill is Rip Blood. And Ripped Blood does decent damage as well. So ultimately, the idea is very simple. You're a Reaper, you're a Lich, you run around, click Drain Life, which would be every 5 seconds. That's how long it channels for. It automatically attacks enemies, and then you run around, you use Rip Blood and Death Seal. Very, very simple. Let me show you some single targets. 550 corruption, fully empowered Poison Nemesis. Ugh. And dead. 550 corruption Shade of Oribus. Just hit there, spam Rip Blood. And then when you can get close, Death Seal. Oh, just getting eaten alive. And then kill threshold. One more. 550 corruption fire bosses. I don't know why I've been fighting the fire bosses a lot. I don't even really like this fight all that much. It's actually very annoying. But for whatever reason, this has been the mono I have been focusing on. Now, what's great is technically you are a ranged spellcaster, and you actually got pretty good range on your Stygian beams. So even at 550 corruption, dead. Now we're moving over to my favorite Necromancer, and I got two builds to show today. Now, the first build is Wraith Lord, and this is possibly the strongest build in the game from a corruption pushing standpoint. There's videos of 5, 8, 10,000 corruption on Wraith Lord. It's always, we don't really know what they're doing to hit those numbers, but Wraith Lord is unchanged. They actually fixed a couple bugs with it, so the Wraith Lord is supposed to traverse and move easier as well, which is awesome. This build is focused around the unique helmet Wraith Lord's Harbor. This is David Harbour, the celebrity's unique item, who is a huge fan of Last Epoch. This gives you the Wraith Lord. Now, this build does take a little bit to gear up because it's spec'd into low life. So you need Exsanguious, you need Last Steps of the Living, and you need the experimental affix on your glove. Now, the experimental affix on the glove will be a lot easier to obtain because there's a woven echo to get experimental affixes, so that is going to be a lot easier. We also normally have the zombie affix on our belt. Unfortunately, that has been removed from the game, so you're going to have to manually spawn your zombies, which isn't a big deal because you don't have to do it super often. But ultimately, this build is still going to be an absolute beast. So Wraith Lord did not get nerfed, which is crazy. I was expecting this this build to really get beat up. Again, it has access to some of the best idols in the game, and I think people are going to be very impressed with Wraith Lord this season. Again, Last Epoch tools is in the description below as well if you want to look through all the data on this build. Enjoy a little Wraith Lord gameplay. And we are only using zombies to feed our Wraith Lord like I just did. Our Wraith Lord is also stationary, which means the way it moves is the experimental affix that you can get on your boots that allow your minions to move after you use a movement skill. And in this case, it is transplant. So I run, I transplant, and then my Wraith Lord is there and clears the entire screen, and then we move on to the next screen. By playing it this way, you are going to get a huge boost to your damage, which I will show you during the boss fight. So pretty simple. Double shade on your Wraith Lord. You summon zombies to feed your Wraith Lord, and you transplant around the map, expecting to low life to stay alive and kill everything. Moving over to one of, if not my favorite build to play in the game, and that is Golemancer. And this build is based upon my in-game item, Aaron's Will, which allows you to have 4 full-sized golems. And I'm hoping with Season 3, when we get our new passive tree, there's going to be some stuff in there for melee minion. I feel like they have to. Most people hate melee minion. I think it's going to get some love in the new season. Now, I had very, very good gear, but we were able to push this over 800 corruption and take down Avaroth last season, which is absolutely awesome. Golemancer is practically getting no updates. They made the mana cost of all the minions you're using less, so it's going to be way easier to maintain your army, which is awesome, but from a power standpoint, it is practically unchanged. Now, I will say, of course, we are going to have a lot more survivability because of these idols. I cannot talk enough how awesome these new Acolyte idols are. And with the boost to health, because this is not really a big ward build. We do use some ward, but this is actually Golemancer's focused around health regen. When you look over at Last Epoch tools, we're currently at 6,700 health and health regen at 923 because of these new hybrid affixes. So even though we're not getting crazy power from the skills and a new passive tree or maybe a new unique, we are getting a ton of survivability and we're getting less mana, which feels really, really nice. So I'm going to show the gameplay for Golemancer, and that's the 4 builds: Torment Warlock, Stygian Cole Lich, Wraith Lord, and Golemancer. Those are my 4 recommendations for season starting Season 2, Tombs of the Erased, on April 17th. Please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, if you think I've earned it, we have our brand new treasure hunt kicking off on the 17th. Join the Discord. We're going to do movie nights, game giveaways, and then, of course, monitor the new treasure hunt. You just join the Discord. It's the first chat under General to click interested if you want to be a part of the community event. And again, right now, what I'm showing you is our kind of brand new alpha beta website, actionrpg.com. We've got creators like Babbling Bike, Frozen Sentinel, The Curse, and myself uploading our builds here. And it's going to be a pretty fun site when we are done with it. So anyways, that is the announcements. Enjoy some gameplay for my favorite, Golemancer. Avaroth. Final phase.
Fight for nothing. gladness. Hope will not save you.